Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're having a good evening, morning, whatever time you're watching this. I'm here with my little friend Chica. She is the sweetest little thing. I rescued her from the streets in 2019. I just saw her and I'm like, I had to take you home. I just finished making dinner and something just told me go and record. Like, I was asking, well, what do I talk about? Is there a script? Nope. Just grab the camera, record. So, I'm listening to spirit. I've learned that, it's not good to fight it. It's just better to go with the flow. I think it's time for an introduction. Like the last video I just posted just right into the message, but I needed to get something off my chest and I put it out there. But oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Guys, please be patient. I am recording in my mom's car because there's a D&D session going on. I tried to record this video already and my brother already came out, and it always pisses me off. I'm sorry, it pisses me off. I'm trying to concentrate. I'm trying to convey something here. And I hate it when someone comes and bothers me because I want to be alone for this process where I can articulate better, and it just pisses me off. I can't have people around thinking like, yeah, no, it doesn't work. So I'm in my mom's car, and I have a huge ring light, but it is not going to fit in here. I can't shove the ring light inside the car. Like, it's not going to work, so bear with me. The lights are going to go off. We'll improvise. Introduction. Hey, welcome. I'm Virginia. I'm 25 years old. I live in Brazil and I'm a massage therapist. The reason I can speak English so well, though, and why I'm making these videos in English is because, one day I just woke up and knew how to speak it, because when you're a genius, anything goes. I'm just kidding. I moved to America around 2 years of age. My family moved to America, and around 13 going on 14 I moved back to Brazil. My dad my dad decided. That's another story. That was also a difficult transition in my life. I didn't want to move back, but whatever. The reason why I'm making this video, I started this whole channel, is more of like because of its words aren't working for me today. Jesus Christ. Started this channel with the intention of documenting my journey, my spirituality and things like that, because around 3 years ago, around my father's death because of COVID, that's when I started having more awakenings, started being more conscious to certain things and noticing patterns, and you notice that you have to work through it, and is when it's all started. But it started kind of like declining over the years, and around August this year again I started having other certain consciousness awakenings as well. And to get back on track, I started this channel as a way of documenting this, because I've noticed for me is that, yeah, of course we need moments to be alone, to reflect, to study, to go after, but a good, like the best way for me, I noticed, to assimilate, to process and to absorb these things that I've read or watched, is through conversation, talking to other people. And kind of difficult to have a conversation about spirituality, esoteric things over here and where I live. So I thought, why not just make a channel? Because I know that out there are others of you like me as well, who are at the beginning of this journey, who don't have much experience, who are kind of lost. And maybe you need someone to also talk to, where you go, man, it's good to know that someone else is also having certain difficulties. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm watching videos about spirituality and manifestations and alchemy, I've noticed I started getting really interested. It can be kind of disheartening when this person who's gone through all these steps are saying, yeah, this and that. Like, nothing against it. Like, there are so many wonderful videos that also help me a lot as well. But like, you're thinking, man, but like, what about those like me, like who are just starting off? Wait a minute. There goes the lights. Wait a minute. What about like people like me, who are just starting off their journey, who are feeling kind of lost? I'm like, is it normal to be feeling what I'm feeling or what I'm going through? And I am learning that, yeah, it is normal. Like, everyone is different. Everyone is different. We're all going to go through a different life experience. But please know that, no, you are not wrong. You're not doing it wrong if you feel stuck, or you're trying to make some significant change, or you're on this journey and you're thinking, man, I feel off, or, I feel kind of down in the dumps. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. And I'm here to tell you, babe, that no, you're not wrong. You're not off. Un poco de agua. It's important to hydrate, guys. I've been really dehydrated, I've noticed. That being said, so a bit about my story, for example. I'm going to give an example now. I was raised in, a cult. I was raised in a cult. And an extremely religious background, the whole spiel. That, sex before marriage is a sin, homosexuality is a sin, everything's a sin. I also loved, folklore, fairy tales, things with like magical creatures. I've always kind of like gravitated towards that when I was a kid. And that was also just beaten out of me. Like, that is a sin. It's this and that. So yeah, like, I had a pretty late start to life in concerns of limiting beliefs, where even like, in my early adulthood, like around 18 to like 20 something, I wasn't given that room to, think for myself and, to figure out who I am. I wasn't allowed to experiment. Like, bro, even if I ever even dreamed of like looking at a boy or bringing him home, I knew all hell would break loose. And it wasn't just a stern talking to, it would be ugly. Oh, these lights. I gotta find a smaller ring light. Jesus Christ. Moving on. So yeah, I had a pretty late start to life. And I've noticed that when we're at the very beginning of our journey, the first things that we, how would I say, come into contact, that we notice that we have to start fixing, start noticing is, well, first we notice the cycles. First we start noticing the toxic patterns, the certain situations, people, places where, they don't serve you anymore, or they're not doing you good, or they've been how would I say, they weren't helping you in expanding and growing. That's the first thing. We start identifying, we start being conscious. We're aware of certain things now that maybe before we didn't know, or we couldn't even identify. And I'm at a point where I've identified a lot of things, but I know that there's still a lot of things that I still haven't identified. I know there's still a lot of things that I have to discover about myself still, and there are certain limiting beliefs that I know that that I still haven't identified. And that is a very frustrating process at the very beginning, because I'm a person who's always been impatient, Like, I want to know now, like, what do? I just want to know what it is, what to do, and it's not like that. That first we have to calm down, and we have to come from a place of silence, calmness, stillness. Because when we're after, for example, so after we identified what that pattern or behavior, habit, or that person that, that's been repeating itself, when we notice that pattern that is no longer serving us, at that point we have to distance ourselves or cut off. And that can also be very frustrating, because while we might start noticing that it's not very healthy for us, maybe we still have a certain attachment to it. Like, for example, at a job, you're not happy at a job anymore, like me. Like, I was in a situation, guys, I love what I do. I'm a massage therapist. I've discovered this, and I love what I do. You know, I love being able to use my hands and transmute, because for me, massage is kind of like in alchemy. It is a form of alchemy where I am transmuting that energy of pain or stress into that of relief and tranquility. That is something amazing to me. Like, you know, that dedication and love you have for that thing, you can use your hands and just, you know, and sometimes it's even just energetic, where I've seen people where they need to have a little bit more of energy work, and amazing. And sorry for rambling, but you know, I love my job. But I noticed that while I love my job, I was working at a place where I was pretty miserable. And how would I say it? I was working at a spa and I was miserable and stressed. Do you see the irony in that? Working at a spa and you're stressed and you're sick. Because I noticed, like, you know, with the higher ups, is that it was always money, 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 money. And they seemed like they cared for my well-being, but money always came first. And, you know, no problem with that. If you want to make money your life's ambition, then yeah, sure. But the thing is that my higher ups, I noticed, were treating me like the way they thought that I deserved to be treated. They didn't respect my opinions when I voiced my concerns about my health and certain things and ideas even to apply at the spa. They would go enter one year and go out the other, you know. And it was that stress where I had to be a certain way. And at the beginning, right, like when I first got hired, I would say yes to everything, of staying extra hours, working on my days off because they wanted to, you know, get more clients in. And, you know, I would do anything just to please that person, my boss. And that was a bad thing. That was a bad thing. But that came from the belief in the idea, I know now, was that ever since that since I was a child, that if I didn't do things to please that person or agree to what they had to say, or, you know, if I ever disagree to one little thing, even if it means, you know, for my comfort, like, you know, for me, that I wasn't, if I was uncomfortable, or, you know, I was too tired or anything, I couldn't voice that, you know, because then I would no longer serve that person. I would, you know, the person wouldn't accept me. That was something that I learned in my childhood, that if I didn't behave, if I didn't do what was told of me or acted the way that I was expected to behave, then yeah, there would be severe consequences. And I brought that into my adulthood. And with the case of this situation that of my previous job, was I've noticed that its cycle started, and it was wrong because it started right when I got hired. And then there was that expectation where Virginia would do anything I would tell her to do. She's a great employee because she does everything, and, you know, I became a doormat. And then when I started having these awakenings again and started being more conscious of certain patterns and prioritizing myself, and I'm not saying that I didn't do my job well, or, you know, I started, you know, I was always responsible, always looking to do my best. But the thing is I started giving myself priority. I wasn't going to do extra, like, I wasn't going to do extra hours. My time to go home, the time I clock in, I clock out, I'm going home. My days off, no, I'm not going to come in my days off. It's my day off. It's my time to rest. Then there was, like, you know, then I started noticing that, you know, the moment I wasn't obeying, I no longer was, you know, how would I say, a valuable employee. And behavior was kind of shifty, and I kind of started noticing that. And it came to a point where there was a heated discussion, and yeah, I can admit that there were certain things that I shouldn't have done, it was a pretty heated argument. There was some screaming, but I was at a point in my life where I was so miserable, so stressed. I was physically ill. I had anemia. I still do, but I'm I'm on the path of bettering now. I'm getting treatment. But I had anemia. I had vitamin D deficiency. I had an iron deficiency. I was getting sores and like opening wounds, like spots, allergies, and rashes showing up on my hand that wouldn't leave. And I remember like coming to work, like, I don't know, like, and also like so bored, because like it was just that I started noticing that in that place, along with me not being treated well and not being heard, and I was also in a place where I knew I would never grow. Like I would stay there and it would be just that, like, forever. It was that. And there comes a point where we're so scared, like, for example, so what I'm trying to say is that I was at a point in my life where I saw these things. I felt miserable. I saw my body was showing signs that this wasn't for me, that I had to get out of the situation, and I ignored it. And I'm saying that me quitting in that heated discussion, that was spirit that took control, because I knew what was going on, and still I was terrified of leaving that job because of the limiting belief inside my head that was the same old story that was repeating, is that I would never get anything better than that this was the best I could get, that maybe, yeah, maybe my boss was right, that maybe I wasn't really that like valuable as an employee because I wasn't, being her doormat anymore. Sorry guys, I have to drink more water. I am really thirsty. Ooh. But also because I had no other job aligned. Like, guys, like, the day I quit, I wasn't even planning on quitting. Like, I didn't go there with like, yeah, today's the day I quit. Like, it just happened. Like, the situation, like, the thing that got into the discussion, like, it was like this. Like, my boss said a phrase, and it's like spirit overrode me. Like, my spirit just took control, and I blurted everything that I had to say out. I'm like, I quit. Like, I am done. There was that point in my brain. I'm like, if I tolerate this, then what else am I gonna tolerate? I'm like, no. But what I'm trying to get at is that maybe, like, maybe you're watching this and you're like, well, yeah, duh. Like, I know that I have limiting beliefs and stuff like that. Maybe you've took that leap of faith already, or maybe you haven't. That you're scared to still. You're deciding whether or not to do it. Like, you're still, you're building momentum. Or maybe for those of you like me who already took that leap of faith, but there are days where we're feeling off or we're tired. Like, I notice I am like really tired. I have been really tired lately, like physically drained, really, really tired. And it's so weird because now, like now since I quit, I thank God, thank the universe that I am having more time to be myself and reflect and ponder, and I'm not running, or it's not as chaotic as much, but still I am physically tired, and the most I've been doing is going to the gym for like a 1 hour session, and that's it. But I have been so drained, and I was starting to feel worried. Oh, there goes the lights again. that we start feeling off, and then panic sets in. It's like, yeah, something's not right because we don't feel right. And, reflecting and, of course, watching other videos of others talking about their stories as well, is that it's okay. That doesn't mean that you're wrong or you're doing something wrong. It is completely normal. Because right now you're at a moment where you are like breaking yourself down. You're basically destroying yourself at the core, at the foundation, where all those limiting beliefs, those core beliefs that were ingrained in you as a child, let it be limiting, and other nasty things as well, something that sometimes we don't even notice within ourselves. We are breaking at the foundation, tearing it apart to build ourselves up again. So we are at a point of rebirth. We're like little larva, little caterpillar in the chrysalis, slowly in this transformation of a butterfly. And I imagine that it's not in, an easy time, or, a fun time. And yeah, you're going to feel off because you are literally being reborn. You are building yourself up again from scratch. And you're overriding that coding, that programming that you had when you were younger. So of course you're going to feel off because you're going against everything that you believed to be true. And that is an intense thing. And that is something that I've noticed as well when I was like feeling off, and I was like, man, I'm doing things wrong. Like, like, what am I doing wrong? It's not going to work out. And it hit me like a bag of bricks. Like, honey, it's been like what? It's been like 14 days. Like, for me, it's been 14 days since I quit my job. And I am on this process of, healing and purging and and the start of this channel and this passion project and taking that leap of faith. And I'm like, it's been like, recently it's been 2 weeks, and you already want your life figured out. Like, I expected my life to be figured out, like all the answers come to me. And it's like, honey, child, patience, just breathe. And I think that sometimes it's like the simplest things, but us as humans, when we see that something is so simple, we tend to disregard it. And sometimes it's just that while we are in this period where we're building ourselves up again, we are floating, we are hovering, and then we can feel very lost. So grounding is the most important thing that we can do at this time right now. That's what I've learned. Grounding, like putting our feet back on earth, like, coming back. And that's the thing of having more patience and love with yourself. Because there is going to be a point where it feels like it's going to be stagnant, that there's nothing going on, that nothing's changing. But we need calm. We need that time of rest and stillness before we get back up again and start all over. Because, like, for example, for any deep cleaning in a house, what is the first thing that you're going to do? You're going to make a mess, because you're going to have to pull everything out. You're going to have to, take, the furniture out of its place. You're going to have to take things out of its place. You're going to have to open things, and it's going to be that mess, because you need to move that thing out of its place, to find that dirt and all that gunk that's been like hiding behind that's been festering over there. And you need to pull it out to find what's hiding behind there, to be able to clean and purge everything. And then after that huge mess, and then you clean and you take out the dust and the dirt and everything, and you put everything back in its place and it's nice and tidy, then we see the whole picture coming together. So we are at this point where we're taking furniture out, we're taking things out of its place, we're moving everything just to get that dirt and gunk out of there in all the nooks and crannies. We are in that process of deep cleansing, and it's going to be a messy time. There's going to be a clutter. I am decluttering my mind right now. And there's got to be you know, like any deep cleaning, when we're in that mess, we sometimes can get kind of lost as well. But what's the one factor that helps us is that we have that determination to keep going, that we're not done yet, that this is just part of the process. You know, it's like the trust in the process. That we know that after we're done and we put everything back in its place, it's going to be so nice. It's going to be like, oh yeah, a nice and clean and tidy place, you know. And that's what we're basically doing with our minds. We are decluttering. We are doing a deep cleanse, taking out what we don't need anymore, you know, what doesn't serve us anymore, old ideas, old emotions, things like that. We are decluttering our mind. And the mind, our psyche, for it is such an abstract thing that, you know, it's not just as easy as 1, 2, 3, and, you know, that's how you do it. That's the thing. That this journey is something that we all have to go through. I mean, you can choose not to, but I assure you that it's going to be a very miserable and confusing life, you know, going through things and not knowing why, and, you know. So for me, this journey is something that all of us, we are obligated to do, that we have to do whether we like it or not most of the time. And the thing is that it's so unique that there is no blueprint, there is no map, like, you know, from point A to point, you know, you do this, this, and this. It isn't. It's something that only you are able to decipher and able to do it, and only you are able to do it. Like, no one's gonna grab your hand and do it for you. Like, you have to do it. And that can be a scary thing for someone like me, who has been always told what to do and what to think and how to feel about certain things their whole life. We were like, you know, a person like me who was never given space to, you know, discover themselves and to grow and like learn emotional intelligence and things like that. We were never given those tools. It can be a very difficulty and disheartening thing when we think about like the whole journey ahead of us. But I am here to confirm that no, it's okay if you're feeling kind of off, you know. The important thing is to have patience and to ground yourself and to remember that it's in the quiet, it's in that moment of stillness and calmness where we're given time to breathe, that we can actually start to think and start to declutter our minds. Because how is someone going to do it? Like, for example, like the cleaning analogy. How are you going to, for example, how are you going to deep clean your house when you have no time, where you're always rushing? Like, you know, what is it that you need to, you know, to do a deep cleanse like that? Spring cleaning, for example. You need time. Because you need time to grab all the furniture, all the things, like anything that you know that has to be taken out of its usual place, and pull everything out to be able to do that cleansing and also put it back. So have patience with yourself and just, like, you know, breathe. And it's in that moment where you have the time, and when in the stillness, when you're able to breathe and to be alone with your thoughts, that is when you're able to connect. And, you know, spirit, oh, there we go. There goes the lights. It's during that time where spirit can connect with you and communicate. And we're only going to be able to know when they're speaking to us, you know, when spirit is speaking to us, when we are quiet and listen and look for the signs. And it's only then that we know what we are going to able to do, what we're supposed to do, what guys, I am tired. I am sorry. That we are able to know what the next steps are supposed to be, or, you know, what mindsets we're supposed to take then. Of course, you know, continue reading the books and watching podcasts and videos, anything that helps you. You know, there's so many wonderful people out there on YouTube as well that are posting marvelous content about this, you know, who are well into their journeys. but also, you know, take time to just calm down, because sometimes when we're in this thing where we're reading so many books and watching so many videos and stuff like that, we start with that thing again. We're like, we have to go, we have to go, we have to make progress, we have to do this, and that is just going to screw over your process. That kind of thinking, that impatience, that, you know, desperation to get to you know, see progress and stuff like that, that is only going to worsen things. I think of that kind of thinking like those Chinese finger traps, you know, where the more resistance, the more you try to pull and like use your strength and trying to break out, the tighter and the worse it becomes, and you're not going to be able to set yourself free. Like, how do you get your fingers out, like, of those Chinese finger traps? It's when you put your fingers even more together, and it's when you relax and you stop forcing. The moment you relax and you don't force, and in the slowness, is when you're able to break free. And I know it's easier said than done. I know, because trust me when I say I am the most impatient person out there. Like, I wanted things done by yesterday, but you know, that's not how it works. Because how many years, for example, like let's say, how many years of like repeating those limiting beliefs and things, and you know, being raised a certain way, how many years did it take for that programming to be set into you, that, you know, you downloaded it, you got all that programming? It took a couple of years. So for your healing, it's also not going to be from night to day. I'm not saying that it's going to take years for you to get better, that you're never going to, you know, it's a long way ahead before you see any progress. Like, I'm not saying that not to disencourage, but like, understand that as well as it took years of those limiting programs and beliefs to be set into you, it's going to take a while. Like, you know, it's going to take some time, actually. And I'm not going to say it's going to take a while. It's going to take some time for you to cleanse. And with any cleansing, any purge, it's not going to be pretty. It's probably not going to be a fun time. But trust me when I say that, no, you are not on the wrong path. You're not doing anything wrong. And that if you're feeling panic or you're feeling stagnant because you're not seeing any progress, my advice to you, that's also helping me a lot, is that, you know, just sit back and breathe and incorporate some grounding things to help you keep grounded. Like, I don't know, maybe some subliminals, some affirmations, some prayer. Prayer and spending a lot of time alone out in nature has also helped me a lot. And it's when you relax and when you least expect it is when spirit makes itself known and, you know, gives a sign or gives us an answer to a certain thing that you ask. And sometimes, and also another thing that I've learned, sometimes we have a list of priorities that we think that we need to get done or has to be resolved, and we put it into like rankings. Oh yeah, this needs to be solved first. And spirit's like, nah, fam, you think that's your priority? Your priority is right here, actually. And it gives you the answer of something that you put at the bottom of your list or somewhere else, but it wasn't the first thing. But actually, that was the thing that you actually needed to know first. So sometimes also expect answers to other things that you probably didn't give yourself priority because you thought it wasn't as important, when actuality was more important than what you gave priority. Yeah. Guys, I am sorry. I am so tired. Like, it has been tiring. I am telling you, like, when I'm making, like I said, I'm making these videos because, trust me, I am going through it as well. Like, I am in that process where I'm like, man, what is left for me? Like, what am I not noticing? What am I not seeing? And this video is for me as well. It's like, we need to breathe. And we just need to be. I'm starting to learn how to live being me, like, you know, the things that I like, you know, what I have to offer. You just being me. And that can be a tiring thing. So guys, don't beat yourselves up over it, okay? But yeah, I think that's it for the message today, what I had to say. I think I had to say everything that I wanted to say for now. Yeah. And if you guys like this message, if you resonated, if you would like to, you know, accompany me on my journey, on my healing journey, on this, you know, spiritual journey as well, feel free to follow. If you think that this message was also something that someone else should hear, if you think that someone else could benefit from, you know, this message, please share as well. And also leave a comment, you know, tell me your story, tell me what you're going through. If, you know, if you resonated with a certain part where you're like, yeah, I'm also feeling kind of weird, or something that you discovered, like, you know, while you were able to try to, you know, enter in contact with spirit, like, what did you learn? Like, what helped you to ground yourself? You know, I would also love some advice, you know, because like I said, where I live here, there's not a lot of people here who are too into this kind of thing, you know, and aren't willing to have this conversation. I tried to have a conversation with a couple of people, and they were like, girl, like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, so, you know, it's great to have like-minded people to talk to, and to, like, you know, that are going through the same kind of things. So, you know, what are you going through? What's your story? Like, are you trying to write a book? You know, what is your passion project that you're trying to make come true? Like, and what helped you? So, you know, don't be scared to comment. I would love to hear your stories, and, you know, and learn. Oh, there we go. There goes the lights. So I'm gonna go because I am so tired, and I have been rambling for almost 40 minutes. Oh my God, guys, I am a chatty Cathy. I'm gonna go take a shower and, you know, get ready for bed. But that was it. And thank you so much for watching this video till the very end, if you have watched it. And I love you guys. Till the next video.